Lovely. All right, thank you. So, welcome back to the final talk of today. Thank you very much indeed for coming. So, today's talk is all about how to get fluent in English through using fluency phrases. And I'm going to share my talk with you now. Just 1 second while I share this. Okay, just want to check that you can all see this. Can you put your thumbs up if you can see this? Yeah, can you see it? Yeah. Yes? Yeah, okay, lovely. Right, I'm going to also minimize the gallery. And just to let you know, I can't see the messages in the share function. So I will in the chat function, but if you have a question or a comment, please type it into the chat and I will answer your questions at the end. Right. Okay, so let's get started. How to get fluent in English through fluency phrases. So in the next 30 minutes, you're going to get one strategy that you can use immediately to speak English more confidently and more fluently. And I call this strategy fluency phrases. You may have heard other phrases like chunks, but I call them fluency phrases because these phrases help you to speak fluently. Now, they help you to speak with less hesitation, they help you to speak more naturally, and they help you to save your brain energy. And this is really important, to speak with less hesitation, because with a phrase made of more than 2 words, you're not always thinking about the next word, because traditionally when you learn vocabulary, you learn one word at a time. So when you speak, you can say that one word and then you're thinking, what's the word? What's the next word? If you learn phrases rather than words, that reduces the hesitation because you're not always thinking, oh, what's the next word? Fluency phrases also help you to speak more naturally, and I'll explain that in a bit more detail later. And they save your brain energy, because if you can use a phrase that you already know, you're not always searching for the next word, so your brain becomes less tired. The other thing about fluency phrases is that they help you to learn and use grammar more automatically, and I will show you that in more detail in a bit. Now, fluency phrases helped me to go from beginner to intermediate plus level in Italian. For those of you who don't know my story, I lived for many, many years in Italy, but when I first arrived in Italy, I did not speak Italian, but I had a job. So I had to do my job in Italian, and I didn't speak Italian. And fluency phrases helped me to improve my level by taking less time and effort. So I had a full-time job. By the time I got home in the evening, I had no time to learn Italian and I had no energy. I was exhausted. The last thing I wanted to do was to study, either to go to an Italian lesson or to open an Italian textbook. At the end of the day, all I wanted to do was sit on the sofa and watch reality TV. Okay, yeah, I watch reality TV. Don't judge me. Okay. But the point is I didn't have time and I didn't have the energy to learn Italian properly. But fluency phrases helped me to learn Italian. And fluency phrases also helped me to sound intelligent in meetings. So I had to attend meetings, I had to speak to customers, to students, to other people in Italian. And in English, I can do that. But in Italian, I couldn't. But I think you'll find that, for those of you who work in international companies, or you work in an English-speaking country, you might be a professional in your own language. But when you have to speak it in English, or in my case, in Italian, you feel reduced to a child almost. And that's really, really hard, because your professional level and your language level are not the same. And that's a really, really difficult position to be in. But fluency phrases helped me to sound more intelligent in meetings so that people would listen to what I had to say. And they also helped me to feel more Italian and to fit into a new country and a new culture. There's a lot of new things when you move to a different country. The language, the culture, the way people eat food, the customs and all that is very, very, it's all very new. But fluency phrases helped me to feel part of an Italian community. So they helped me, and they will also help you in English. Okay, so in this talk, I'm going to show you what fluency phrases are and why they help, and where you can find fluency phrases to speak English more fluently. But first of all, who am I, if you don't know? Obviously, my name is Claire. I'm an English teacher, coach, and podcaster. You might know me from my website, english-at-home.com, where I help thousands of students. My first language is English. I also speak French and Italian, although Italian is much better than my French. And my method is really to help you get quick wins for confidence and fluency. If you remember Jason's talk, he makes a link between confidence and fluency. If I can help to get you confident and fluent quickly, then I'm a happy person. So that's my kind of method. So first of all, what is fluency? We talk about it a lot, but what is it? So the Cambridge Dictionary definition of fluency is the ability to speak or write a language easily, well, and quickly. An example, one of the requirements of the job is fluency in 2 or more African languages. So let's forget about writing. Here we're talking about speaking fluency, the ability to speak English easily, well, and quickly. So this means for me that you can find words easily. It doesn't mean that you have a huge vocabulary, but you can find words easily. And you can speak without too much hesitation. Not that you speak fast, but you're not doing too much of I mean, this is where fluency phrases help you because you're not hesitating as much. It means also that you can speak clearly, not sound like a native, not have a native accent. That's not important, but your pronunciation is clear enough that people can understand you, that you are easy to understand. Again, it doesn't mean that your grammar must be perfect. And also that you can speak enough to continue and develop conversations. Okay, so that's fluency, and it's very important. With English fluency, of course, you have easier conversations. This means that you feel more confident and that you speak with authority. So remember, in a meeting, when I couldn't speak Italian, I could use these phrases that would help me speak in such a way that people would listen. So speaking with authority is really important for confidence as well. And where does this lead you? It means that with English fluency, that doors will open for you. I have seen so many students, once they become more confident, once they become more fluent, they change their job, they get a better paying job. They decide to go traveling internationally, because what happens with English confidence and English fluency is that it affects other areas of your life. When you're confident in English, you become confident everywhere else. And this is something I say a lot, but English development is personal development. And it's also obviously career development, because the best paid jobs, you're going to need English. So English fluency has lots and lots of advantages for how you feel about English, for how you feel about yourself, for how you have conversations, and also for career and personal development. So why then is fluency so difficult? And there are 2 major problems. The first problem is in how you learn English, or how we teach English, the methodology. So you imagine a traditional classroom, you're going to spend hours learning grammar and learning vocabulary. But guess what? Learning grammar and vocabulary do not make you fluent. Or you might think, okay, I'm going to do something outside. I'm going to listen to films and TED Talks. But again, if you're just listening passively, this doesn't make you fluent. Most of the activities that we do for learning a language do not make us fluent. In fact, I asked in the Facebook group, what percentage of the activities you do for learning English, what percentage of these activities are for fluency? And the answer, less than 50%. Most of what we do does not help us with fluency. The second problem with fluency is speaking itself. So you know that having a conversation in English is difficult, and it can be, or it often is, unpredictable. So as teachers, we say to our students, oh, go and speak more, go and have a conversation with someone. But it's difficult. If you don't feel confident, it's difficult to start a conversation. And of course, it's unpredictable. Someone asks you a question, you make a reply, and then the other person says something that you didn't expect, or they take the conversation in a different direction. Because conversations are human and they're communication tools, you can never predict how the conversation is going to go. And also the problem is that conversations are immediate. You have no time to think of the right words. So speaking as an activity is a very difficult thing to do. And of course, that's one of the problems of fluency because of the nature of speaking itself. So what's the result? This is what I see lots of students feel. First of all, you feel frustrated. All that time studying English and I still can't speak it fluently. Often people feel demotivated. So what's the point? What's the point of continuing if nothing that I do helps me to be more fluent? And then the third problem is that you feel reduced to a child. You're professional in your own language, but not in English. That makes you feel kind of reduced, like you are a child again. So these are the results of not being fluent. But of course, there is a solution. So we've heard some excellent talks today. And my solution is fluency phrases. Now, a fluency phrase is a phrase of two or more words which act as a block of language. And all these blocks together create a chain and a sentence. So here are examples of fluency phrases. A phrase like can I, or you're welcome, at times, give and take, to be used to, common sense. Now, all of these phrases in common, they are all fluency phrases, and we're going to look at the different types of them. So the first type of a fluency phrase are collocations. Now, I talk about collocations a lot, and I'm sure you hear this from other people as well. Collocations are two words that go together naturally. It could be a noun and a noun. It could be an adjective and a noun. It can be a verb and a noun. And the examples I gave you before, we have common sense and we have give and take. Take a photo, sorry, is another example of a collocation. We take a photo, not make a photo. When you learn collocations, it makes you sound natural because these are natural combinations of words. So for example, before an exam, do you say to someone, good luck, or do you say great luck? You're gonna, I hope you chose good luck. This is what we naturally say. If you said to me, oh, Claire, great luck, I probably understand you, but I think, that sounds a little strange. So the natural combination of good luck is a great example of a collocation. If you've got a little picture of a man who's really angry in his car, is this an example of road anger or is it road rage? In fact, it is road rage because rage is a strong form of anger. And it's an easy one to remember because both of them start with a R, road rage. Or a third example of a collocation with verb and noun, is it do a decision or is it make a decision? Do or make. I know these are tricky in English. It is, in fact, make a decision. So the first type of fluency phrase are collocations. They are super, super useful to learn and to use yourself in conversations. Second type are fixed phrases. So these are phrases where you don't need to change it or you don't need to add words. Example, if someone says thank you, you say you're welcome. This is an automatic reply, and it's a lovely example of a fluency phrase. Next time someone says thank you, you're welcome. See how easy that is? It's fluency there for you. Another example, in every relationship, there's some give and take. Now, these 3-word phrases, give and take, these are very, very common in English. You often have the 2 words separated by and, give and take, pros and cons, do's and don'ts, come and go. You often have them with and, sometimes with or, more or less, for example. And they're very, very common. You don't need to do anything more than just use them. In every relationship, there's some give and take. Sometimes you give, sometimes you take. It means, there's some sort of kind of flexibility there. And idioms are also fluency phrases. Example, you're in hot water with the boss. If you are in hot water with someone, you are in trouble with someone. It's not a great place to be in hot water. It's uncomfortable. So idioms are also examples of fixed phrases. You don't need to change or add the words. It's a type of fluency phrase. The third type of fluency phrases are starts of phrases. Now, I call these signaling phrases because they signal your intention to the other person. The example before I gave was can I? So if someone says to you, can I? You know that they're going to be asking for something. Can I have some information, please? Can I leave early, please? So can I means I want something. Some other examples. Do you know if, when you say that, you're asking for information? Do you know if John's here today? Or would you like, it's going to be an offer. Would you like another coffee? In my opinion, someone's just going to give their opinion. In my opinion, we should walk more. So next time someone asks you in a meeting, what do you think? Rather than saying, you can start, well, in my opinion, and using that phrase gives you thinking time for the rest of your sentence. Well, in my opinion, I think we should do this. Excellent. Okay, so this is a very natural phrase, a fluency phrase, which tells somebody you're going to say what you think, so that person will wait for you to finish and you have time to think of what you want to say next. So fluency phrases are these kinds of starts of phrases. Excuse me. Fluency phrases are also grammatical phrases. I gave the example of if I were you, which is a great way of giving advice. There are some other examples. You'd better. And again, that's kind of giving strong advice. I used to, for when you want to talk about a past habit. It isn't worth, and an ing form, it isn't worth doing this. So you're saying that something is useless. There's no point, there's no value of doing something. And grammatical phrases can also be fluency phrases. That's an important thing to remember. And then the fifth type of fluency phrases are what you call prepositional phrases. Now, prepositions in English, I know, they are difficult because you've got for example, at times, but you have lots of prepositions in English. Under, we're under pressure, we're under attack. This is under discussion, for example. On, my example, I didn't do it on purpose. In, they met in secret, like these two spies. So prepositional phrases are also fluency phrases. So that's your 5 types of fluency phrases. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water for my throat. So now then, why do they help you with English? And I think there are 4 reasons why they help you. The first reason is that they are very common. Now, the research shows that between 50 and 80% of conversations are fluency phrases. 50 to 80%. So all of these fluency phrases, these are going to be collocations, grammatical patterns, they're going to be starts of sentences, they're going to be fixed phrases, they're going to be prepositional phrases. They make up 50 to 80% of conversations. So if you know them and you can use them, then they're going to help you with English conversations. Now, we know this through analyzing speech and what we call corpuses. So for example, let, the word let, appears in many different phrases. And if we analyze how thousands of people speak English, we will see this word let come up again and again and again and again. Here are some examples. Let me see, let me know, let alone, let go, live and let live. All these are different ways that you can use let. So the good thing about fluency phrases is that they are already formed. This is another reason why they help you with English. So you just need to take a phrase and then add the details. Let me know what happens. Let me know when you get the email. Let me know if you change your mind. This let me know is a little phrase that you can use again and again and again. Just change the ending for whatever situation you are in. Or this one, let go. Why? Because you're hurting me. Let go. Let go, you're hurting me. So when you have these expressions with let, for example, you have potentially thousands and thousands and thousands of new sentences. Again, for example, can I leave early? Can I have a tuna sandwich? Can I ask you a question? You can potentially add thousands and thousands and thousands of new sentences just by using these fluency phrases. All you have to do is remember that one phrase. The third reason is why they help you with English is that they are easier to remember than a list of individual words, giving you thinking time. For example, if I were you, I'd, example, take the job. It's quicker to remember if I were you than trying to remember each individual word. So if you try to think of words in isolation, right, if, next word, if I, okay, now I need the past form, the verb to be, if I were, that's right. Now I need the object you. It's going to take you forever. English or native speakers don't think of each word individually. We remember that phrase, if I were you, I'd. So imagine someone's asking you, I don't know, should I take this job or not? You're going to give your friend some advice. So you say, well, if I were you, I'd take the job. It's much, much quicker than thinking of each word individually. So of course it gives you thinking time for the rest of your sentence. And fourthly, they help you to learn and use grammar more automatically. So this, if I were you, I'd expression, it's the second conditional. And we typically teach second conditionals at intermediate level. But you can learn the phrase, if I were you, I'd, and use it at lower levels without needing to know the grammatical rules. You don't always need to know the grammatical rules. So if I were to ask you, you'd better is advice, you'd better do this. Do you know what that apostrophe D stands for? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you remember that it's actually had and not would. It doesn't matter. You don't always need to know the grammar rules to be fluent. So, how can you find fluency phrases for you to become more fluent in English? There are three ways. The first way is through reading. Now, I took this text from the British Council site, and it's all about literacy. I'm going to read it through quite quickly, and I want to find out from you how many fluency phrases, don't forget, fluency phrases are collocations, grammatical patterns, prepositional phrases, idioms and phrasal verbs, if you like, as well. How many can you identify when I read through this article? And I'll read through it quite quickly. Have you ever traveled to a country with a language that you don't speak? If so, perhaps you had trouble understanding the most basic things, signs, instructions, or documents. This gives us a small idea of how hard life must be for a person who is unable to read. Illiteracy is a major problem around the world. To acknowledge the huge efforts of people working in this field, the United Nations celebrates International Literacy Day every 8th of September. Since 1967, this annual celebration has brought attention to people in the world who don't know how to read or write. It highlights ways to combat this problem and the huge progress that has been made. Every 8th of September, UNESCO holds an awards ceremony in Paris in which prizes are given to individuals and organizations who work hard to increase literacy around the world. Okay, I wonder how many you counted, and I'm going to show you these now. I put them in red for you. Here are the grammatical patterns. Have you ever, followed by the past participle, a great way to ask for experience. Have you ever done this? Have you ever been to this country? Have you ever worked abroad? Have you ever broken your leg? Have you ever been in an accident? We use this all the time to ask for experience. The next one, second paragraph, the word since and a specific date in time, since 1967, and it's going to be followed by the present perfect. Since 1967, this annual celebration has brought blah, blah, blah. So just 2 grammatical patterns, but they're very good ones. What about the collocations? Woo, loads of collocations. A language that you speak, to speak a language. A major problem. So this is an adjective and a noun. Read or write. Remember these 3-word phrases. Give and take. Read or write. To combat a problem. To make progress. So we make progress, not do progress. To hold a ceremony, or in fact, an award ceremony is also a collocation, a noun and a noun. Award ceremony. Prizes are given, so to give a prize. To work hard, this is an example of a verb and an adverb collocation. Okay, here are some other patterns. The first one, if so. So have you ever blah, blah, blah? If so means if you have. It's a lovely sort of, we call it ellipsis, but it's a lovely way of speaking more concisely. To have trouble doing something, you might also know to have difficulty doing. How plus an adjective, noun, and is. How hard life must be. How hard life is. To know how to do something or not know how to do something. And then finally, around the world. So here you have a prepositional phrase. And here are them all in total. All of these in red are fluency phrases. Remember I said 50 to 80% of our conversations are fluency phrases, collocations, grammar patterns, prepositional phrases, and so on. It's a lot of English fluency phrases. So reading is a really good way of finding fluency phrases. Listening is also a great way. Now, we don't have time to play this clip, but if you're using something like TED Talks, you can see that there are transcripts. It's always a good idea to read the transcript and listen at the same time. This is about a Korean girl, or she's now a woman, but when she was learning English in the UK and how she felt when she went to school. Here are her fluency phrases. I'm 8 years old. It's my first day at the new school, but I cannot express myself. Actually, I don't understand a single word of English. My family just moved from Korea to England. My mum is raising my little sister and me, and she's also finishing her degree. She's nearly as lost as I am, as adjective as. That's another fluency phrase for you. Oh, it's a grammar one, but a really useful one. She speaks to my teachers in broken English every day about how she can help me at home, compared to, a great one for making comparisons, compared to many other parents in the school who speak no English at all, or are even scared to ask the questions. She's much better off. And for that, I'm much better off. Fast forward 3 months, every time my mum picks me up, that's a phrasal verb for you, a swarm of Korean parents crowd around the car. It causes a traffic jam like every day. Seriously. So seriously is a lovely 1-word phrase you can use to sort of like get the other people to sort of laugh. And in fact, in the audience, you hear people laughing. All of the other Korean parents gather around the car, asking my mum the same questions that she asked my teachers. What is a parent-teacher conference again? My kid is behind. What can I do? I don't know how. There's that phrase again. I'd have survived that first year without my mum, but I do know that my experience is not that unique. So again, perhaps less than 50% here, but again, you see how frequent fluency phrases are in English. So those are two ways that you can learn fluency phrases. You can find and learn them through reading and through listening. And there is a third way that I'm going to go through with you very, very quickly now. And it's called the English Fluency Package. Now, this is something that I have designed especially for the English Fluency Summit. And it's a combination of self-study materials and personal feedback for fluent speaking. It contains the Advanced English Speaking in 100 Steps course. It contains 400 plus fluency phrases in one place with training, and it contains one personal speaking evaluation with me. So Advanced English Speaking in 100 Steps is my best-selling course. As you can tell from the title, 100 Steps is 100 ways to upgrade your speaking, including phrases, conversation skills, pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and ways to speak with authority. There we have it again. I'm very keen that when you speak English, you feel confident enough to speak it with authority. The course is self-study with 2 study plans, audio and quizzes, and you have recommendations from previous students as well. And then the second part of the English Fluency Package is 400 plus fluency phrases. These are phrases to make suggestions, invitations, and offers, to give your opinion, to agree, to evaluate, to describe, and so on. It contains one-word replies, reactions, comments, and preposition phrases, all in one spreadsheet with drop-down examples. So here's an example, a snapshot of the fluency phrases. For example, agreeing a fluency phrase is "you're right." If you look at the details, there's a drop-down menu with suggestions for how you can continue to build that sentence. You're right. And another thing is we often use "and" after we agree. Yes, and say what else that you're going to say. And you also get one personal speaking evaluation with me, where you get my feedback and suggestions on your speaking. So this is where I give you a prompt, an idea to talk about. You record yourself speaking, you send me your voice recording when you want, and I send you back my evaluation. It's very powerful because I tell you exactly what you're doing right, and also the areas to work on. And it's also very flexible because it isn't a lesson. So you do the recording when you have time and send it to me. So just to wrap up, I sell the course for $59. The fluency phrases and the training are worth $30, and the personal speaking evaluation is worth $15. So the total value is $104. But because you're at the summit with me, you get a 50% discount for 1 week only, and the cost is just $49. Now, when you compare this package to other things, I always like to make comparisons because it helps to set it in context. So I compare the fluency package with learning alone and through hiring a personal tutor. You get lifetime access to all of this with me, which obviously you don't with a personal tutor. You get my personal help, which you don't obviously if you learn alone. And it's low cost compared to a personal tutor. These tend to be expensive, but the fluency package, like learning alone, is low cost. Okay, I'm now going to ask you if you have any questions, and we're going to come out of the share. I will share the link with you later through the email, and there is also a QR code. But what I'm going to do is stop the share, and we are back. Okay, fantastic. Right, so thank you very much indeed for listening so far. I'm now going to just check through to see if there are any messages. Okay, how can I answer? Recognizing collocations. Okay. This is how I'm learning Polish here in Poland. Alyssa says, very helpful. You've saved my life many times. Excellent. Yes. Collocations maybe will save your life, but they say, as we say, they save your bacon. They're very, very useful for conversations. Are there any other questions that anybody would like to ask me about fluency phrases and how they can help you with learning English. Any questions at all, or any comments at all? Feel free either to chat, or if you like to raise your hand and I can unmute you. Okay, do I help in TOEFL speaking? Farwa? No, I don't actually cover TOEFL, but tomorrow we have a talk with Anne at 10 o'clock UK time, and Anne is an expert on TOEFL and on TOEFL speaking, so she will be able to help you tomorrow. In fact, so tomorrow we have two talks. We have TOEFL at 10 a.m. UK time, and then at 2 p.m. we have Martin, and Martin's going to help with pronunciation and listening. So that's going to be a really useful talk for you if you listen to UK or American English speakers, and they're like, blah, 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 and you're like, whoa, what was that? So Martin's going to be really, really helpful. Alyssa, is it the same as chunking or similar? Yes, yes. So fluency phrases are chunks. They are things like collocations, grammar patterns, prepositional phrases. Yes, they are chunking. Milena, will we have individual evaluation and support? Yes. So with the English Fluency package, you get my support. You send me one recording and I will give you detailed, personalized support on that recording. So yes, it's personal. That was very helpful. Thank you very much. Anya, yes, we need to practice. Yes, practice is going to be the most important thing. Can I please show the QR code again? Yes, let me just share that just one more time. There we are. And I will also send out the slides so you can get the QR code and the link. The link is a bit.ly, which is a shortened link form, bit.ly/fluency-package. Okay, I'm going to come out of that share. All right. Okay. One other message or any other questions? If anybody has a question, you can raise your hand or you can just write it in the chat. Okay. All right. Okay. If there are no other questions, thank you very much indeed for coming. I realize it's the evening. You probably need to go and eat your dinner or lunch if you're in Argentina. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Tomorrow for our talks at 10 a.m. we have Anne, and then at 2 p.m. we have Martin, and at 6 p.m. we have the party. So the party, come along for some free conversation chats. And of course you can ask any questions, but you can chat to each other and get some lovely fluency practice. I will send out the links to all of this later on. Thank you very much indeed. I'm not sure, Nilo, if you still have a question. Nilo has his hand or her hand up. How can we...
Hello.
Hello, Nilo. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, Claire. It's nice to meet all of you, and thank you very much. Here, I have my questions in the previous session also, and you said that you will answer for this question. The question was how to recognize collocation, phrasal verbs, idioms in articles, in text. I can't recognize them, but my students asked me how to recognize. As
Right.
I don't know myself, how could I teach them? It is the main reason, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so phrasal verbs are types of fluency phrases, and you can recognize them because you're going to have a verb like give, take, go, and you're going to have a particle or a preposition after. So for example, get on, get off, get out, get in, get through, and so on. So those are relatively easy to identify. Things like collocations, what you're going to be looking at is how words appear together. So when you have, for example, a noun like decision, look around it. What verb do you see? So make a decision. There you are. That's your collocation there. Do you have an adjective before it, like a tough decision, an easy decision? So when you break down a sentence, it's a really good idea. Okay, look for the nouns. Now look for the verbs that go with the nouns. Look for the adjectives that go with those nouns. And then my suggestion always is to check everything out in a collocation dictionary, or just go to Google, so you can put these words together and then type in collocation question mark next to it and see if a match comes up. And this is what I'd advise everyone to do. So that's why just 10 minutes a day, you can just take 2 sentences. That's all you need to see what collocations, phrasal verbs, and idioms come up. The dictionaries that I use, I almost always use the Cambridge Dictionary. The Longman Dictionary is also very good, because these dictionaries, I have to say, they're free. So these are really useful dictionaries to use. Just you can go straight into the dictionary, the Cambridge Dictionary site, and paste in your phrase and see what comes up. There are also collocation dictionaries. The Oxford has a very good collocation dictionary. So again, go and check there. Then there was another question: how can we practice better phrasal verbs? Yes, I would say when you learn phrasal verbs, you learn them right from the start. Learn them in context. Learn how they go with other words and how we use them in sorts of sentences. So, for example, you get on with a person. You can also get on with a new piece of equipment. How are you getting on with your new air fryer? Hey, well, it's fantastic. So get on with, how does that typically collocate? Is it with a person? Is it with an object, for example? And the best thing with phrasal verbs, write an example with your phrasal verb, put it in ChatGPT. What does it come back with? So definitely practice them. Okay, my course sounds great too. Thank you, Anka. Thank you very much. Does the fluency package also include the phrasal verb masterclass? Claudia, no, it doesn't. That's a separate thing. But if you're interested, send me an email. And I'll see what I can do to help you. Nilu is more clear now. Thank you so much. Great. Okay. Milena, merci beaucoup, Claire. Vous êtes super. Thank you so much. That's my French. Okay, so you can use tu with me. You don't need to use vous. Thank you for boosting my motivation, Anka. My pleasure. Motivation and confidence are key in learning English, in learning all languages. Lovely. Any other questions before I say goodbye? And I thank you again for spending your time with me. Bellissimo, grazie Maria, ma grazie di cuore. And you really encourage me to keep motivated. Yes, Anna, the more motivation and more confidence you have, that's the key to more fluency. And anyone can do it. Really, anyone can do it. I'm amazed by students, who within a year, they're fluent because they put the effort in. And it is, as Jason kept stressing, it's the practice. We need to practice. That's the link between studying and using. Nilu, have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Nilu. Have a lovely evening yourself. I'm going to send the links. The link to join Chris is the same link as this one. I will send the links of these videos. I'm uploading them slowly to YouTube, and I will send you those links. Yes, okay. Thanks, Claudia. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your attention and for your comments. Any other questions before I say goodbye? I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you so much. It's time for English tea. Miguel, yes, enjoy your English tea. Thank you so much for coming. I will see you all again, I hope, tomorrow. Have a lovely evening wherever you are in the world. And Yes, I will send you the links about the package as well, Alyssa. But some of the links are already in the Facebook group if you are in the Facebook group. Okay, thank you so much again, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye for now.